Hello, everyone. Hello to all the back row people. It's good to sort of see you in the distance. Welcome to I think this is just our second campus update. I hope everyone got to spend time with loved ones that didn't drive you crazy and that you had a chance to recharge, hopefully over the break. We're really glad you're here. The one thing I want you to know is it's being live streamed. It's going to be recorded. You can actually go to the website. Is that the next slide, John? Thank you. Oh, there it is. So you can submit questions to U of L Update, and we have the answers to all the questions that were asked last time. We have a tight schedule, so we may not get to questions. If we have time, we will. But if you send any questions to us, we'll get the answers to you as soon as possible. So in October, I spoke, our interim provost, Jerry Bradley, spoke, Lee Gill, our vice president for DEI, and then Mary Elizabeth Miles, our vice president for human resources, spoke. So today, I'm just going to say hello, and then you're going to hear from interim provost Jerry Bradley, our CFO and executive vice president for finance, Dan Durbin, our executive vice president for research and innovation, Kevin Gardner, and then the Deputy Athletic Director, Marvin Mitchell, is going to give an update on athletics. So, as we ended the year, we got to celebrate in the way that everyone always enjoys celebrating at the end of a term, and that was with commencement. And so we had almost 2,300 graduates, and I shook hands with about 900 students. Actually, I fist bumped about 900 students. And some people think a fist bump means that you try to take out the interim president. So I had like broken vessels, and my hand was swollen, but it was all in celebration of U of L. And they've been putting stories in U of L Today about our amazing graduates. You'll see it on social media. Take a look at some of those stories because they are quintessentially U of L. I had given some information in some of the emails that we send out. We're in the process of working on trust on the campus. And so there was a trust survey that went out, and along with the trust survey will be focus groups of people on all the college's units, and they're really working to talk to faculty and staff to see what we can do to make sure that this is a campus where we all trust each other and that we can move the campus forward in a really positive way. So we want to build the culture of trust here, and I think that's really important. In the area of DEI, we held the inaugural President's Inclusive Excellence Forum. That was on November 9th, and we had the most dynamic speaker. It was Freeman Herbowski III, who was the former president of the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, and he'd been a president there for over 30 years and he's just known nationally, and he gave a little bit of a sermon, so it got us all charged up about DEI. Since you'll hear from these, I'm not going to mention any of their areas. I do want to thank everyone for a really great 2022 year. When I came here as provost and I was signing the papers the day before Thanksgiving on 2020, Neely Bendapudi asked if I would promise to stay 3 years. And I thought, U of L? Kentucky? Yes, absolutely. I said, Neely, I need you to promise 3 years. And she thought I said 8 months because that's when she left. So when I was asked to step into this role, I did it because I love this university, I love our state, and I want to thank everyone who stepped up. In times of transition, we can all get a little upset, a little unsettled, and we kept the university going, you kept the university going. We had so many really great milestones of success for us. So I want to thank you for that. It was my honor to serve in this role, and now we're looking forward to Kim Schatzel coming in. She'll start February 1st, and we'll continue to move our institution forward. But I really offer like a personal thanks to all of you. I was very proud to see what all we accomplished. So with that said, I'm going to now be upstairs in the provost role and be able to work closely with the colleges. So thank you, and I'm going to introduce Jerry Bradley.
Hi, everyone. Good to be back here on HSC and in the Kornhauser. You know, with that fist pumping that Laurie was talking about, I learned every day in this job as provost. When I got into the job, it was a whole new experience, and I learned a lot. But one of the things I learned at the fist bump thing is that there's a new nuance to it, is that I learned on stage, some person instructed me, you do the fist bump and then you go. See, I learned something new every day. So anyway, a year is a long time. I remember 12 months ago, it's actually 12 months to the day that I became provost. You know, so this is my annual anniversary. Thank you for all the flowers. I didn't get any. But it's been a pleasure to serve in this role, to serve you in this role. A lot of what I present will be presented to the Board of Trustees as an update next week. But I did want to share with you all here in the Kornhauser and who are streaming in live. So, you know, one of the things I'm going to cover is, you know, a large part of what I've done and what we've written about and what our work has been in the Office of the Provost, it revolves around student retention. And I spoke about this in the October Town Hall, is that we knew that the students coming in the fall of 22 were the most underprepared group of high school students that we've ever encountered from the standpoint of COVID preparation in the high stakes areas of math and reading. And so a lot of what my work has been and our office has been and our team has been across many areas is built around student retention initiatives. How could we prepare these students coming into a very rigorous semester? And we knew that these are the students that become the lifeline of our campus. They become our future medical and dental students here on HSC and public health and nursing, and the preparation that we did. So we spent a lot of time around developing new initiatives, trying to figure out what students were at risk, and I'll talk a little bit about that. I do want to give you an update on the dean searches that we have underway right now, and I will share a little bit of updated data on our diversity profile across campus as well among our faculty and our staff. So, you know, for those of you, we had talked about in the October about the initiatives that we put in place, and we put a lot of initiatives in place. For instance, our standard alert systems, and when students get into trouble, was moved up. We had a lot of summer programs that were developed. We had a lot of high-impact practices that we wanted to get in front of these students. And these are actually the data that has been coming off the press right now. So if you remember, our incoming freshman class was the highest that we've had in many, many years. And what we're showing here is those students and how they've progressed from the fall of this year and have enrolled and have now started in the spring. And so you'll see on the line graph here that we are literally back to pre-COVID levels. We're actually exceeding our 2018 numbers, which to me, I was worried that we would actually drop and continue to drop based on our preparation of those students coming in. But it's so exciting to see that we have actually come back to exceed our 2018 number, which is our last pre-pandemic number. And as of today, that number is actually 1% higher because we're not done yet. It actually closes next Friday. So we still have about 2% of students that have to kind of make the drop, a dead date on their apps. So we're at 92% of students who have enrolled from that fall semester to the spring semester. And this is a critical lost time for students in the cycle. If we go and look at our Pell eligible students, and these are our underfunded, under-resourced students, 40% of our students make up this cohort. That number is also 1% higher today than it was yesterday. The slide was developed yesterday. As of today, it's about 91%. That is a solid 4%, I'm sorry, I need to do my quick math here, 3% higher than our pre-COVID level. And I'm really excited because, as you'll see, this is a high-risk group for us who we typically lose. And that's really impressive. And again, a lot of because of the efforts that were incorporated in admissions and our team. So it's been a village effort among our faculty. We've made additional sections available. We've had accelerator programs. And I'll talk a little bit about a couple of the initiatives that we did in more detail. This is our underrepresented minority group, and again, this is up to 91%. And so again, you know, we are bridging that gap. There's been that gap between our underrepresented minority, our Pell eligible or underfunded, between our natural overall cohort, and our mission is to eradicate that gap. This is a very complicated slide. There will be an exam on it later, so I want you to be a quick study on it. I just wanted to point this slide about how complex the group that we bring in. And there's this thing about underrepresented minorities being performing poor students. If you take underrepresented minority students as a group, which is 844 students, they actually enroll at 98.8% in the spring. There is a lot of confounding factors of why students don't do very well in universities. And universities, the number one mistake they make is they kind of work on one particular factor here. But as you can see here, underrepresented, underfunded, GPA that falls below a certain level, and first generation. They are all high risk factors of why our students don't perform or don't make it to the second semester. If you look in the middle of the graph where the color is a lot darker, you'll see here that the group that are in the most, they're underrepresented, they're underfunded, they've got low GPA, they're first generation, 73, that percentage drops to 73.8%. So this is because why we've developed very complicated measures of intervention to help students progress and beat these barriers for their success. And it's really critical as we go forward. We've learned a lot in this year. We're going to learn a lot more as we progress each year and what is working and what's not working. If I go to the next slide, we used some predictive analytics of that incoming class to figure out which ones needed academic counseling. Which of that group were the most academically unprepared? And of that group of 2,700 students, we identified 195 of them, and we offered them a scholarship to go to our REACH services, which is our additional services that we provide on campus. We've also noted from our data that those students don't take advantage of it. It's usually the 3.0 students and above use our services. So we wanted to get to the group that were most in need of it, and we put together a financial incentive to do so. Of the 195, actually 69 took part in it. And of the 69 that took part in it, nearly 90% of them went on to enroll in spring. The unfortunate group who didn't partake on it, and we offered it to everyone, the 120, only 77% of that group actually went on to enroll. So it truly shows the advantage of what these services can do to students coming in. We are excited with this data because it was a trial initiative. We know that we picked up 8 or 9 students in that group that actually did it, and then we know that we could have probably picked up another 15 or 16 students if they'd taken part in it. So again, this is data we're going to use to advance the program and actually to make sure our advisors are selling this to our incoming students as we move forward. And I don't want to get into some of these other things, but the success rate of these initiatives that we started has been really making a difference, which I think is why we moved the needle on those tables that I showed you before that. So now I'm going to jump into some academic leadership updates. Right now we have 2 searches for deans in the College of Arts and Sciences and the Kent School of Social Work. Again, we had a diverse group of candidates that were advanced after the applications were looked through. We had search firms and our committees working on that. They had training. We went through a process. We came up with a very diverse pool of applicants. We are now in the final stages of the interviews that will start next week when they'll be coming on campus. We have 5 in-person finalists coming on board from the College of Arts and Sciences, and then 4 from the College of Kent Social Work. So we're really excited about the candidates, the mix of the candidates, the diversity, and their experiences, their diversity of experiences of what they bring to the colleges, because these colleges are very diverse in their backgrounds. Just to give you a backdrop of the searches that we'll be doing, the School of Nursing, School of Public Health will be doing in the spring of 2023. In the fall of 23, we'll be doing the College of Business and the College of Education and Human Development. And then Tony is here, and I want to publicly thank her for her service as Dean of the School of Medicine. And as you all know or may not know, Tony Gansel announced that this week that she was going to be retiring in the summer after 12 years of dedicated service as a Dean, and then nearly 30 years of service as a faculty member, as a department chair, as a ENT surgeon. And so for that, we are very grateful for Tony. So I guess a round of applause for Tony Gansel. We have a new Vice Provost for Online Teaching Strategy and Teaching Innovation, Dr. Kelvin Thompson, who's joining us on the 17th of January. We're very excited about that because that's the online space that we need to develop. We have developed a new position for cybersecurity. Who would have thought, right? We know that ransomware is all out there, cyber attacks, and we've developed a new position there that was kind of a result of a consultant who came in, and we have 2 finalists underway. And then diversity, I just wanted to give you a kind of an overshot of our faculty diversity and what changes have occurred in the different groups. And it's interesting because when you look at our full-time faculty, this is alphabetically, by the way, not how we finished in the ranking of diversity, but if you actually look at the diversity of the U of L as it relates to other units or other universities within the system, we are actually second in African American faculty to obviously the University of Kentucky, Kentucky State University, which is a HBCU. But I think that, you know, we have a very diverse faculty rank among our faculty, and then if we look at our administrators, it shows just a change of administrators, so, you know, relatively stable over this period of time. And then if we look at head counts over a period of time, you know, this is kind of the breakdown of the grouping that we have in each area and changes that have occurred in them. So this is data that we are tracking all the time, and we constantly talk about, you know, what is normal churn in a university, and typically, you know, normal churn is about 3% of faculty in a normal pre-pandemic year. During the pandemic, they noticed that it was high as at 6%. We've been monitoring that, and actually our churn is pretty similar to about 3.7%, which is pretty normal. Again, these are things we kind of constantly look at. And then with that, Dan is going to talk next, but I do want to talk a little bit of gratitude to all the folks here on HSC. I know 12 months ago we were dealing with the pandemic, we were dealing with patient care, we were dealing with safety issues, and all of you have been in the forefront of that effort, treating patients during this period of time. And I just want to thank all of the faculty here, the staff who were involved in that care, because the work never stopped, the mission never stopped, and you continued it. So thank you all for your service. So I appreciate the opportunity to serve you. Thank you.
Happy New Year. It's good to see so many folks here so late in the day. I appreciate your commitment, and we appreciate your commitment to learning more about what's happening at the university. And in exchange for your commitment, I'd like to make a commitment to bring you up to date on a couple of items that touch all of us each and every day. And the first of which is money, our university budget. And when we think about the budget, the university has about a $1.5 billion budget. It's a large budget. It can appear to be complex. It has money coming in from different places. We spend it on different things. Sometimes it can be a little overwhelming. But I would encourage you to think about the budget not in the dozens of pieces of where the money comes from and that type of thing, but in terms of 2 pieces. The first of which are restricted funds. Of our $1.5 billion budget, about $900 million of that budget is driven by funds that an external source tells us how we're going to spend. It has some rules and parameters around it. Grants, for example, clinical funds have to be used in a clinic, things of that nature. So about $900 million, or almost $1 billion of our budget, is restricted. Now, and that's on the left-hand side of the pie, the blue dollars, we'll call them. On the right-hand side of the pie are what I'll call the red dollars. And the red dollars are the unrestricted dollars of the university. And those are the dollars that we use for the general maintenance, or general operations and maintenance and upkeep and the funding to run the university. Faculty, staff salaries, utilities, debt service, you name it, that pays for it. So that amounts to about, again, $650 million. But if we take one step down and look at what's within that $600 million, what's within that most flexible group of funding, tuition and fees. Student tuition and fees account for about 60% of our unrestricted budget. About 60% are a little over $350 million. It's significant. That is why we are laser focused on enrollment, on retention, on student success, because that is one of the primary drivers of our budget. So again, that is something that we keep our eye on, and frankly, we work really hard to make sure that we maintain that revenue stream. So from a current status of the budget, that's the budget itself. Just to give you an update on where we're at, we passed the midpoint of the fiscal year. The budget's balanced, which means that we have the revenues and the resources to meet our expense budgets. That may seem a little elementary, but frankly, that's not always been the case for this university. Up until about 3 years ago, that was not the case, but it is the case now. Now, it's balanced, but there's some hard work behind the scenes in balancing that, because in all transparency and openness, our tuition revenues, our enrollment did not quite hit budget. We were a little short. But we built into the budget mitigating actions to be able to adjust the budget in the colleges and in the non-academic units to be able to meet any shortfall in tuition revenues. So we're still balanced. The last thing I'd like to talk about on the budget is, I believe in my heart, all of us own the budget. All of us own the budget. We are, when the budget does better, the university does better, and we do better. It allows us to be able to generate funding for pay raises, for programs, for things that that really help fuel the mission of the university. So we all own the budget. And I firmly also believe everyone on this campus can impact the budget. Every one of us. I don't care if it's the president all the way down to a custodian. We can all impact the budget, and we can do it in a couple of ways. Number one, just through the careful management of resources. But also, number two, is helping our students with retention to be successful, and also in recruiting. The way we interact with students, the way we treat them when they're here on campus, the way we help them be successful. We all can do that. So that's just a couple of things to keep in mind, because again, when the budget does better, we all do better. Okay? Now, the second area that touches everyone every day on campus is facilities, our facilities. And the facilities are a little like the budget, in that the budget up until a few years ago wasn't very stable, and we've had to get it on a little firmer ground. Facilities has been the same way, especially around deferred maintenance, which is basically the upkeep of the infrastructure. We fell a little behind years ago in terms of the upkeep, and because of that, we've suffered some power outages, water leaks, some things like that. And we knew we had to get things back on track and invest some money into the infrastructure. And thankfully, the legislature allocated about $82 million rather, to the university this year and next year combined, about $40 million per year, to the university to help fund those type of deferred maintenance activities. So you have probably seen, and you will continue to see over the next 2 years, a lot of activity in terms of our maintenance engineering folks, outside contractors working on things like HVAC systems, plumbing, electrical, roofs, things like that. Okay. So the state allocated about $82 million. We had a responsibility to match that with about $25 million. So we will invest about $106 million in deferred maintenance in this campus over the next 2 years. And frankly, that's record breaking. I don't think that has ever been done here. So it's needed, and it's quite frankly very, very welcome. And the way that we've designed and the board approved the projects, there are probably over 100 projects, individual projects related to deferred maintenance in this $106 million package. And it's broad and it's deep. And what I mean by that, it's broad because it touches every campus, Shelbyhurst, it touches this campus, and it touches Belknap. It's also deep in that it covers everything from replacing roofs to underground wiring and conduit and plumbing and electrical upgrades under the ground and in some of the tunnels down on the Belknap campus. So we have tried to design a program that, number one, helps address the infrastructure needs to make sure that all of our utilities, all of our buildings are safe and healthy, and also, number two, that everyone benefits. So we are quite proud of that. And you'll see that from the plan of using these dollars, you'll see that the primary component of the plan is HVAC, electrical, and plumbing. Okay. So again, we're very excited about this. Now, I can tell you one thing that I can guarantee you is this will change. And what I mean by that is we started on these projects actually last May. And as time evolves, supplier chain issues, inflation, so we have to move things around. But again, you will see about $106 million over the next 2 years, and this should help improve the quality of the air we breathe, the water we drink, and also the appearance, frankly, of some of our buildings and exterior areas. So the last thing I would like to say is I feel, between Jerry and I feel like an alum of the Health Sciences Center. I came here 5 years ago as CFO. Actually, Tony was the second person I interviewed with. And then I was drawn to Belknap. And I've seen a lot of things evolve over the last 5 years, but I have to admit that I am firmly convinced that all of us at the University of Louisville are in the right place at the right time. We have the budget stabilized, we are working on the infrastructure, the academics are sound, the health system is sound. So you are in the right place, in my opinion. We are in the right place at the right time. And I'd like to thank you for being at the right place at the right time. And thank you for all that you do to make the students successful, to make the institution successful, and to make the health system successful. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm happy to be here and to give a brief update on research and innovation. I want to start by recognizing that it's the incredible work of the faculty and the research staff at the university that make the research engine go. That's the horsepower, the gasoline, it's the cylinders, it's the whole thing, it's all that stuff under the hood. It's great faculty who are writing really competitive proposals, receiving funding, doing good science, getting scholarship out to the world, and through that, affecting the global community, affecting people's health, affecting prosperity, affecting the planet that we live on. So I'm only here to facilitate research, right? It's the great faculty that we have. The university is as good as its faculty, and it's them who deserve all the credit for the great research profile that we have as a university. So the second thing I want to recognize is that our faculty and staff also play a really important role in the research mission through their service on committees like the Institutional Biosafety Committee, the IACUC Committee, the Institutional Animal, whatever, IACUC, Animal Use and Care Committee, the Human Subjects Protection, IRB, we have 2 IRB committees. Those are really heavy-duty service assignments that require expertise of our faculty in order to make this research engine go. And I know that our faculty probably don't get celebrated enough for that effort that they put into that, and the staff that we have that run those programs are top-notch, and that's what makes this university go. It's really hard to celebrate no news, but when you're talking about biosafety, and you're talking about animal use and care, and you're talking about human subjects, no news is good news, and we have to be able to recognize that and celebrate that. So it really is the staff in those areas, and the faculty and other staff that serve on those committees that deserve a lot of kudos. So we continue to not have any news. There's my first update, first part of my update. It's a really strong compliance program, and a lot of thanks to the strong faculty that we have at the university. So I've got 10 different areas. I'm going to just run through these real quick for updates. The first area is in research development. So we have a new faculty orientation for research for faculty, new faculty. an orientation for new faculty around research. So the first one is next Wednesday, the 18th. That's on the Belknap campus. The other one is on Monday, January 25th. That's in the CTRB on the Health Science campus. So new faculty ought to sign up for that. They're going to get a lot of information about how to do, who to contact, and so forth. And they've been contacted directly, and research deans have been contacted, department chairs have been contacted to make sure that we get as many of those new faculty there as we can. If you're not getting internal grant opportunities through the newsletter or the research office, you need to. So contact me if you're not getting those. You should be. We have monthly town halls, monthly research town halls. So we give updates monthly about what's happening with research in the research enterprise on those calls, and we try to highlight things that you ought to know and opportunities for engagement on those calls. So those are the last Thursday of every month. So that's research development. So Innovation and Commercialization Office, we hired a new executive director, Laura Savatsky. She's very talented. She's been in the field for decades. She is the immediate past chair of AUTUM, which is the professional organization for tech transfer officials from universities. And she's really great. We also hired an intellectual property officer, Catherine Brown. She is a licensed patent agent, so she is someone that's going to take our entire patent portfolio and manage that. So if you have patents, you'll be working with Catherine Brown. She's wonderful. We've been working on things like streamlining IP terms with industry. So the biggest challenge when we sign contracts or master agreements with a pharmaceutical company or somebody else is the IP terms. And so we're streamlining those to make it easier and simpler to get those contracts into place in an efficacious manner, among other initiatives. We have a new ventures office at U of L that was launched a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. One of the things we just announced is a partnership with an entity called High Alpha Innovation. High Alpha is a venture studio. So we have a venture studio. It's called Cardinal. Thought that was in my notes. Cardinal Studio. That's what it is. So it's a venture studio that's backed by a $10 million venture fund. So when we form a company out of here with expertise of faculty, with the input of these experienced entrepreneurs from High Alpha, and that company gets launched, it gets backed by venture dollars. There are innovation grants that we have for translation of science into something that's closer to the market through two programs, Kinetic and Launch It. Those applications are due in early February. If you get the newsletter from the office, you know that those things are coming up. If you don't, let me know, and I'll get you on there. Core facilities. The university has a lot of really excellent core facilities. You can't be a modern research university, particularly with a major biomedical research enterprise, without strong and supported core facilities. We hired a new core facilities director in August. His name's Rand Haley. Rand's written the book on core facilities across the nation, has consulted with dozens and dozens of universities across the country on their core facilities. So we got the best person we possibly could have gotten for that. We formed a formal research core advisory council. Its first meeting is tomorrow. There's a core facility strategic plan that's been drafted. It's under review now, and we'll be working to implement that starting in now, 2023. We do a lot of work to streamline our systems and processes. We try to make sure that faculty have the time to write the proposals, to do the science and so forth, and try to reduce the friction. I was going to say the office is like the Teflon. We're trying to apply Teflon to the university, but that's a fluorinated compound. I probably shouldn't mention that because there's going to be people that think that's not a good compound. So anyway, reducing friction is really important for the work that we do. We spend a lot of time and effort on that. Our website has a lot of helpful guidance for researchers who are doing things that they don't always do, related to HR, related to purchasing, related to doing the business that researchers have to do. So see that, and we put things up there that we hear about. So if you're having some challenge as a researcher and you feel like it's taking you more time to do X, Y, or Z, then we want to hear about it and help problem solve. So don't be quiet and just suffer quietly. We have selected a new electronic research administration system called CAIUS. It's kind of the industry standard. Many major R1 universities use CAIUS, but CAIUS then rolled out a brand new system to us, so we're the first users of this system. So it's about 12 to 18 months behind schedule, 100% on CAIUS. So it's been a painful process, but and so we're working there, and throughout 2023, we will be implementing CAIUS. It's still not a viable product today, amazingly enough. There's three different parts of that, 4 different parts of it: system-to-system proposals, submissions to grants.gov, sponsored programs that allow for internal management of grants and contracts, animal oversight, and IBC and hazardous material safety. So all those are being worked on and developed and will be implemented as we move through the year. Secure and regulated research. I think Jerry mentioned that Chief Information Security Officer is being hired. I just interviewed somebody right before this, so it was fantastic. And I just told some of our researchers out here who really need that person how wonderful it was to interview these people. So really good news for the research enterprise. We are reviewing proposals from Amazon Web Services right now to develop a secure research enclave. There's a lot of people that need greater level of security than we'll be able to probably accomplish for a long time as a university-wide, and so we expect cloud-based secure research enclave in the coming months that will be available for researchers, and we can get those contracts signed and do that work. There's a lot of federal requirements coming down the pike with NSPM 33 and the CHIPS Act, if you haven't heard that, and so we've got the university folks across the university, from compliance to research and beyond, that are in international office, that are working to make sure that we're compliant and also reducing what faculty researchers have to do about that. We are providing support for training grants and postdocs. We hired Rashul Sartoris, and she is supporting 2 training grant T32 recipients. So these are, there's some grants you get that are really important for the university to get pre-docs and postdocs supported. And they come with a heavy burden of administration for the PI, and so there's a kind of a disincentive there. So we have a really talented hire in that program. She's working on those with those T32 recipients to frame out a support program, and she's also working with the postdoc program to help support postdocs at the university. On the postdoc topic, we are contracting with a new company that's going to help recruit postdocs. There's a national shortage of postdocs, or challenge in recruiting postdocs, that's come along in the last year or two. I've heard a lot of dialogue about it. It's a complicated issue for why that's the case, but it's the case. And some of our colleagues have found success with this company for that postdoc recruitment. So that's in the works. Distinguished faculty. People know that we have a new Bucks for Brains program. The Advancement Office is working hard on raising funds for those. I know there's a lot of good prospects for a lot of the new endowed chair positions that we are working on developing. We are also working with the university leadership on the future of the Distinguished University Scholars Program. There's a number of reasons for that. The structural deficit in that program this year was $500,000. So it was a program that was set up with a certain financial model that isn't viable anymore. But we still need 2 really important things. We need to recognize our most distinguished faculty, and we need to attract, hire, and retain the best faculty. I started out this talk by saying how important those faculty are to the university from the research perspective, but it's equally true from the educational perspective, that's what we rely on. So we need to do that, and that's really critical. We have some other recent programs put into place with the School of Medicine, a K Award program, and then we're working on one for the COBRE to make sure we can retain the faculty who move through COBRE program successfully. Finally, the subject is of open scholarship. Everybody's now aware that there's new requirements for sharing data that are coming down from the federal government, NIH and NSF and other agencies as well. And we have a new policy that was just established. You'll find it in the policy pages, wherever those are on the interweb. And we have a working group to facilitate getting procedures into place. It's not really about having a policy. It's like, well, what do you do then? How do you do it? What's the work you have to do? So we have a group of talented faculty from libraries right here in Kornhauser, as well as on Belknap for helping to do that. We're also part of Helios, which is higher education leadership and open science. And Cindy Logston from my office sits on the executive committee or something of that group. That's a group of universities that come together to figure out this open scholarship thing and how we do that. There's my update. I'm going to turn it over. Marvin.
Thank you guys for having us here today. We appreciate it. I'm the closer. All good stuff. Let's see, let's do this clicker here. Earlier in this school year, probably July, we had a retreat. We set out to set some goals for our department. We probably came up with 30 different goals that we wanted to have. We felt like that was too many. So we came up with the 4 that we have because they were far-reaching and they were broad across the spectrum of things that we wanted to accomplish. The first thing we talked about was achieving graduation success. And for us, we've done a pretty good job over the years. If you stay here at the University of Louisville, we will graduate you. That's a promise that we make to every recruit that comes, to their parents, to their guardians. If you give us an opportunity to impact your life, we will. We feel like we're doing a good job, but we want everyone to come and we want everyone to stay. So that's why we set our goal at 100%, because for us, setting it very high means that that's something that you will work for, and hopefully we can stay as one of the top universities in the country for graduating student athletes. Number 2 on our goals was reaching unprecedented levels of fan engagement and investment. In order for us to be successful as an athletic department, we have to have fan engagement, we have to have fan involvement, and for us, with our marketing department led by Lottie Stockwell, the group that she has, our whole athletic department just investing in what we put out on the field as far as entertainment at halftime, before games, all the t-shirt toss you guys see. We want to make sure that we engage everyone that wants to be a Cardinal, and we want to keep them a Cardinal. Win national championships. Some people say, hey, that's a no-brainer. Everybody wants to win. But we felt like putting that as a goal is something that we wouldn't have to talk to our coaching staffs. We wouldn't have to talk to people in the community about what our mission here is here for our athletic department. We want to be the best across the board. Recently it came out, I think it was listed today, that in the Sears Cup that we were or the Capital One Cup, whatever the cup is called now, we were number 22 entering the fall, leaving the fall. So we're making our way up as far as having great programs across the board. But again, we want to win in everything. And that's okay. If it's okay, can I hear yeah? Okay, that's right. People on the internet, I don't know if you heard that, but everybody said yes, that's important. 4th thing that we wanted to do was just be the best place to work in college athletics. We want to be compassionate. We want to care about our students, care about our staff. Athletics puts in a lot of hours. When you get to a game, that's only the tip of the iceberg that you will ever see. The hours that go 24/7. My cell phone is over there because if it was here, it would be buzzing. It's nonstop. So for us, we think about the things that we can do for our staff to make sure they know that we care about them and we want them to be whole. So we make folks go home. You have to leave. we make folk turn off your phone. But being a part of U of L and being in that spirit, we get a lot of people that will do whatever we ask for them, and we appreciate those folks working for us. Next slide we have is just talking about some academic success and some things that have happened over this last fall. 3.24 department GPA. We've had several years, about 12 years or so, maybe more, that every semester that GPA for all of our student athletes across the board was above a 3.0. And that's something we pride ourselves in. The counselors that worked for our office, and I took some time because I did get on my phone, sorry, when you guys were up there. I wanted to make sure I got everybody's name right and make sure I mentioned them, because these are the folks that sometimes don't get that credit when they're sitting there working with students, working their schedules, making sure that they're making up exams when they're traveling to a championship, and the professors will let them make it up afterwards or before. Sometimes they will allow our senior members, Scott Saladay, to even proctor tests for us. But these folks are unsung, and I just want to give them a quick shout out because these guys left me a lot of time, so I'm going to do this today. Catherine Thompson, Kamari Wooten, Justin Ruffin, Ansia Eiffel, Caroline Crafton, Shelley Toole, Cara Talley, Chris May, Scott Saladay, and Lauren Hansen. And last but not least, I want to give a special shout out to a young lady that's been in our office. She was a student athlete here, great student here. Well, not as great a student as her students are, but she was okay. Graduated undergrad, went back, got an MBA, was a part of Leadership Louisville, does a really good job of volunteer coaching in the city. For the last 3 years, she has been the top counselor working with the teams with the highest GPA. I'm gonna shout out field hockey, and I'm gonna shout out baseball. Her teams are our top teams. 3.7 GPAs are higher for both of those teams. And if you guys will indulge me, just give a round of applause for everybody, but especially for Rachel. Next on is 493 student athletes earning AD honor roll. That means 3.0 or above. When I came here, and I'm about to age myself, if this gray beard does not age me itself, 1999, we had about 100 kids on AD honor roll, which is a 3.0 or better. We felt like that was something that we wanted to emphasize, and with the former AD, Tom George, I said, we need to make this official. And some of you in here are old enough to know where we used to parade them on the football field and the basketball courts. They had the shirts. I still have folks asking me for those daggone shirts, right? These days, these kids, it's automatic. They compete in-house, team for team, student for student, to get on this list. So that's very impressive. We've got a really good culture there. 412 student athletes on red and black, scholars, that is 3.25 GPA or better across the board. And then 89 students have a 4.0, which is the perfect GPA. Success on the playing court. Volleyball. Let's just give a round of applause for this team. Amazing season. Danny Boost Boom Kelly. She's gonna get mad, but I call her Boom Boom. Sorry. Amazing coaching job. Not just this year, but last year, and then the year before. Like, we have a powerhouse program in this volleyball program, and it only gets better. And they're hungry. I don't know if you guys saw where Aiko Jones has announced that she's coming back, and that was very, very exciting. So good job for that team, and again, great season getting to that championship game. Next slide, couple of all tournament. We figured we needed to make this presentation look a little better than just me standing here. So I wanted to give you some of our amazing students who are not just brilliant on the court, but just great people. Aiko Jones, Anna De Beers, Claire Charleston. Next slide. This thing is very sensitive. Jeez. The bowl win. When we had an opportunity to end out a season that some of you in this room, and I'm looking at directly in people's eyes, you didn't think we were going to have. You didn't think it. And then having our coach decide to take an opportunity with the team that we were going to be playing in the bowl. It's okay. Our guys stuck together. Going to that meeting, I will personally give you guys an insight. One of the most inspiring meetings of resilience. We were prepared to go in this meeting like, okay, we got to lift these guys up and we got to hug them and tell them it's going to be okay. They're just like, what's next? Who we got? And when we told them that our former athlete, former Super Bowl MVP, Deion Branch, who wasn't in the building at the time, he was literally in Indianapolis spending some time with his family because we were like, go, get time because we're going to a bowl game, spend some time with your kids and your wife. We had talked to him on the road and like, we need you to do this. And when he came in to see those guys' face, to say we knew we was going to win would probably be bragging, but I felt it when we said it, okay? We felt it in that room. They were going to win for themselves, but Deion has been an integral part of our program coming back as a staffer, working for that program, working for those students, working with Josh, working with me. So Deion Branch, here's your shout out, buddy. Good job. Very good. And then we get to our homeboy, Jeff Brom. Yes, he's back. Jeff has hit the road. His staff has hit the road. Again, when we talk about what happens behind the scenes, it's interesting, but it's something that unless you are there to see it, you don't understand the work that they have to do. So coach leaves. This guy's coaching in a top bowl game, just was in a championship for his conference. We're coming back and forth. All these things are happening. I don't even know what happened, right? But we get it. We get him here. He's here. Once he gets here, or even before he gets here, he's hitting a road recruiting, like trying to get his stuff lined up so whenever he passes his test, whenever he gets everything done, compliance-wise with John Carnes, shout out John Carnes, great compliance officer in the country, when he gets all that set up, he's ready. So he's preparing for that. They're still recruiting now. Lori and I were walking in and she's like, hey, Marv, is everybody in? I'm like, sure, everybody's in. So I want my hats off to that group. They're working really hard. I know he's got some more staffing that he's working on, but we really appreciate the fact that Jeff took us up and said, yes, I'll come back. We had to twist his arm for him to come back, right? So congratulations to us for getting him back. So Jeff Brom, thank you. So as I finish up this presentation, just want to talk about a couple of our fundraising initiatives that we're in, and it's just very important for us to let folks know that as much as I think folks think athletics, you have it all. We don't. So when it comes to our students and it comes to the NCAA and it comes to all the initiatives that the NCAA as an institution puts on all of the constituent institutions, we have to be prepared for funding different things. The Cardinal Trust is a philanthropic campaign to help us fund the academic initiatives for U of L student athletes. This campaign will assist in the funding of these three areas: the Red and Black Scholars Program, the Degree Completion Program, and Summer School Aid. So for a typical scholarship, institutions can pay a scholarship for the fall and the spring semester. Anything beyond that, the university and the university athletic department has to raise that fund, has to be budgeted. We know where we are with our budget across the board, so we try to fundraise to make sure that we can supplement these things. Summer school is important for us. If we go back talking about graduation rates and that GSR that we talked about at the very beginning of the program, that helps us get graduation rates. We can graduate kids in 3.5, 4 years, 5 years. The federal rate is 6 years. We're trying to make sure that we can get these kids done. If you're playing sports, if you're in a nursing program, I'm at the campus, nursing, you know that clinicals happen. If you're in season, we have to schedule our student athletes where they can take classes in the summer, come back after their eligibility is over. So that's where we go to the degree completion program. We set it up and try to make it the best situation for the students. Remember, I told you we promised the parents, we promised those students when they came here, we're going to take care of you. So these are the things that we have to put in place, and we have put in place, and we've gotten some really good response from folks. And if you too out there want to contribute, go to our website and you can sign up and read a little more about the programs. The next fundraising that we have is the new standard, and it's all around our women's sports and knowing that it's important. You know, 50 years ago, we talk about Title IX and what's been done with that. And I've been here 23 years, and I will tell you that what we've done at U of L is one of the best jobs in the country of taking care of women, having the facilities that we have. We get to visit other facilities, and it's amazing that you see both soccer programs only having one field to practice on and play on. We have a practice field. We have an amazing stadium. We have another practice opportunity. You see field hockey playing on the same field as lacrosse. We have a field hockey stadium. We have a lacrosse stadium. We have a track that's by itself now because we moved soccer. So we are ahead of the game, but we want to keep pushing. We want to keep pushing for it. Our women, we've done some things, really nice things recently with the renovation of the women's basketball locker room, tennis locker room. We've added video boards for lacrosse and field hockey, and most importantly, that Louis outfit. We have to have Louis, and we have to have cheer and dance, which is our most decorated national champions, the Spirit Group. So let's give them a round of applause. We don't do that much. Amazing students with great GPAs and very hard workers. So with that being said, I think that's it, and Lori's going to make her way back up. Y'all go ahead and clap Lori back on the stage for me. Good job. Thank you. Good job. Yes.
Thanks to everybody who was here. We have probably about 130 people watching online, so we hope to continue to do these. Send your questions in. I hope you have a wonderful 2023 and a great term this spring. So let's end it with Go Cards. Thank you very much.